Live, local, late breaking. You're watching KIRO 7 Eyewitness News. Dedicated, straightforward Seattle news coverage.
Pulled from a burning home.
Just doing what we do around here, taking care of neighbors.
Now at 11, the help from nearby that came just in time.
Firefighters say if those neighbors had not rushed in, the woman would likely have been killed. KIRO 7's Henry Rossoff is live right now at the house. And Henry, it took teamwork in a crisis to save this woman.
It absolutely did. That's what we're hearing from firefighters who were still on the scene investigating. They say if neighbors had not been here to help, this woman may not have survived.
My daughter came down and said she thought the neighbor's house was on fire and the neighbor was having problems because she heard screaming.
That's when 20-year Army vet David Dodge rushed next door to save the woman in her late 70s. Just as Stephen Swedenberg noticed from across the street, there was a fire.
The house was pretty heavily engulfed, and there was like 20 or 30 feet of flames coming out of the back of the window.
The woman who lived alone in this house made it out onto an elevated porch, but was trapped.
We just grabbed a ladder and some neighbors came down and helped get her off the balcony away from the fire.
Some off-duty police officers, as I understand it.
Yeah, they live just right up the street.
They've got her out of there and saved her life.
We lifted her up and got basically a human chain to move her down the ladder, kind of one rung at a time.
The victim was taken to Harborview because she inhaled too much smoke. We spoke to her daughter off camera, who told us the house might be totaled, but her mom would likely be fine thanks to Dodge and others living nearby.
That's just doing what we do around here, taking care of neighbors.
Firefighters are not yet saying what started the fire, but the victim's daughter suspects her mom might have left a lit cigarette out somewhere. Live in Kirkland, Henry Rossoff, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
New tonight, a driver got a major gash on his forehead but avoided a major disaster on I-5 today. The 23-year-old man was near Joint Base Lewis McChord near Center Drive when a small piece of metal came flying through his windshield. It slashed him in the forehead but avoided his eyes, and he will be okay. Troopers think the metal got kicked up from the freeway. New at 11, a motorcycle went bouncing down an I-5 ramp, seriously injuring the rider. Now, this was a scene near the University of Washington shortly after 8:45 this evening. In the wreck, the rider got thrown from the motorcycle over the guardrail and fell onto the embankment below.
I didn't really know what to think. I saw his bike hit, and he just kind of disappeared.
Troopers believe speed was a factor. They say there were skid marks and debris stretching over about 300 feet leading right up to the crash site. Well, now to the weather and a beautiful sunset around Seattle. Take a look at this time-lapse video taken from our city camera atop Queen Anne. It was a pretty quiet day around western Washington, and meteorologist Morgan Palmer's here now, but fog is moving in, Morgan.
Exactly right. The fog is redeveloping, and we look at this camera. This is a time-lapse at the airport in Arlington. You can see how that fog comes in and goes back out. It's going to be widespread to start tomorrow, but patchy widespread fog. That makes sense. It's not going to be everywhere, but it's going to be around most regions of western Washington. We can see some of this visibility. The markers coming down tonight, less than a mile in Seattle, 39 degrees. We will be looking at a forecast that does involve some clouds, some sun, and yes, a chance of showers. I'll tell you where that's most likely on Sunday. And we'll talk Seahawks straight ahead.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, Morgan. Police in Snohomish tonight want to find whoever vandalized a cemetery. As KIRO 7's Deborah Horn found out, one family is determined to alert the neighborhood about how the vandals disturbed the dead.
The names etched in these gravestones belong to some of the earliest settlers in Snohomish, buried over the last 114 years in the Marshland Cemetery along Seattle Hill Road.
He wanted this.
One of the newest headstones belongs to Colleen Wall's husband. 85-year-old Ed Wall was buried here last September, along with 4 generations of his family.
That's his sister, his mother, his grandmother, great-grandmother, and then we have a baby, 3-day-old baby, Linda, over there.
But then she and her daughter noticed vandals had toppled several headstones and broken others. This ground, sacred to them, defiled.
Oh, I get angry when it's private property. Secondly, it's destruction of monuments that, represent people's family.
And they represent a big cost to the cemetery's board of directors.
We do not have the money to repair all these. It's a shame.
A shame, too, to neighbors who think they know who the culprits are.
We do have problems with children coming up here. We see a lot of cars. We have to chase them off. So, yeah, they do like to park back here. They do like to go into the cemetery.
There has been a huge activity of children going up there.
The cemetery abuts Ghafoor Sadiq's front yard.
It needs to be put in some kind of control. I don't know if they can fence the area. If they can, it'll be awesome.
Colleen Wall says she is thinking of putting up flyers to alert everyone who comes to the cemetery, as well as those living in the neighborhood, so that they can join forces to keep those vandals out. In Snohomish, Deborah Horn, KIRO 7 Eyewitness News.
New tonight, hundreds of train passengers were delayed today when thieves stole a critical piece of railroad equipment. Trains were delayed between Centralia and Olympia after thieves made off with cable that controls traffic signals. One set of rails had to shut down, causing a backlog of rail traffic. In all, 5 freight and 3 passenger trains were delayed. Crews replaced the cable tonight. Rescuers say a Seattle skier's fitness likely saved her life. She survived a frigid night in a tree well near Kamloops, British Columbia. The woman got separated from her skiing partner yesterday in a backcountry area of the Sun Peaks resort known as the Gills. She hiked back up the mountain to warm up this morning, and that is when she was spotted by a search helicopter and then lifted to safety. Now, 2 other sisters got lost on the same part of the mountain and were found safe about this time last night. Voters in SeaTac said yes to a $15 minimum wage, but a judge said that will not apply to airport employees. New at 11, supporters and opponents of Proposition 1 reacted to the ruling. A King County judge ruled Prop 1 is void at SeaTac Airport. Her reason is that the Port of Seattle has exclusive jurisdiction over it, but higher minimum wage still holds for people working off airport property.
This is good news for 1,600 people who work at the hotels and park and rides in SeaTac, but it's bad news for 4,700 people who are working sometimes 2 jobs to make ends meet at the airport.
Now, those against the higher minimum wage say they are pleased part of Prop 1 was grounded, and they hope more of it will be struck down in the future.
That's not so what's so wrong with $15 minimum wage. It's that any law or initiative passed by the legislature or by the citizens has to be constitutional and have to meet the test of law. And in this case, it did not meet that test.
Prop 1 passed by just 77 votes last month. Supporters plan to appeal the decision as soon as next week. More than 1 million Americans may be facing a financial crisis, losing long-term unemployment benefits. The benefits ran out today because funding dried up. The program is meant to assist those who have been out of work for 6 months or more, but Congress did not renew the program in the long-term budget signed just this week.
I don't know. Hope I don't lose my house.
Is that a reality?
That's a possibility, yeah. I don't know. Sorry. Stop for a second.
Well, there is a bipartisan plan in the works to restore the benefits. The plan could be up for an initial vote in the Senate next month. Back-to-back warnings from the international head of the Machinists Union to his 31,000 members here. He says next Friday's contract vote could make or break the 777X program here in Washington. Tom Buffenbarger did not explicitly recommend a yes vote, but he did caution the timeline for the Puget Sound area is ending, he says. He also believes Boeing's threat to take 777X work elsewhere is real.
Students of Eastside Catholic are not giving up.
Keep Mr. G!
They're rallying for a vice principal forced out because he married a man.
I did not resign. I was terminated. I was let go.
Tonight, hear from the educator in his own words and why students are keeping their fight going.
Today's rally in Sammamish came more than a week after Mark Zamuda was dismissed. KIRO 7's Natasha Chen shows you what former Vice Principal Zamuda told one of his students and why the school's attorney disagrees.
This is becoming a familiar sight. Students, alumni, and community members continuing to rally more than a week after Mark Zamuda left Eastside Catholic School. And this won't be the last of it.
Until there's a change. I
up. There's no stopping point.
In fact, they're fired up after seeing a brief clip of Zamuda, or Mr. Z, being interviewed by freshman Katrina Crittenden.
I asked if it was a breach of contract. They said no. I said if it had anything to do with my job performance or evaluations, and they also said no. They said it was because I was married to a man and violated Catholic teaching.
There's been a lot of confusion over if you were fired or if you resigned. Which one is it?
So to set the record straight, I was terminated.
It was great to see him just be so blatantly honest.
There have been a lot of mixed messages about how Mr. Z actually left the school. Since his interview, these students told me they got another message from the school's attorney contradicting Mr. Zamuda's story.
The school's attorney, Mike Patterson, told Cairo 7 Zamuda willingly resigned and even admitted to not living up to the contract. But some students would rather listen to their ousted vice principal.
I would believe Mr. Z. I don't see him having any reason to lie about that.
Whatever the case may be, ralliers say he left unjustly, and even if he doesn't return to campus.
Yeah, I think our goal has transcended that now. I think our goal is about a greater dialogue in the Catholic Church.
In Sammamish, Natasha Chen, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News.
The school's attorney said this is a done deal with no intention to revisit Zamuda's employment. Coming up next, a naked man saved by a sandwich. New tonight, the bizarre story out of Portland involving a hoagie, a parking garage, and some quick-thinking cops. Also,
there was blood inside the vial of the needle.
Syringe surprise.
We kind of freaked out. We called 911.
The disgusting discovery that ruined a Washington family's Christmas. Also, move over, 12th man. The 12th lady is in town.
Bring the lady 12s together, and it's a really cool place.
New tonight, the support from Western Washington women for the Seahawks. And a dream fulfilled.
I'm in shock. I don't know if this is real.
How Seahawks stars came together today to help a local teen battling a bone disease. When 11 at 11 continues.
A couple seconds later, puts his hands in his pockets, and then he got poked with the needle.
A syringe surprise for this Washington family. They said they found 2 needles inside a sweatshirt that was a gift for a 16-year-old boy. What was supposed to be a happy Christmas celebration ended in a Cowlitz County hospital, and tonight that family is demanding answers.
We just hope that all tests come back negative.
These hypodermic needles were not something Tom Basie expected to give his stepson for Christmas.
Utter shock. We just couldn't believe it on Christmas morning that this had happened.
Tom says his 16-year-old stepson had just unwrapped the hoodie when one of the hypodermic needles stuck him in the finger.
So he tried it on. It was a little big on him, but then he put his hands in his pockets and he goes, ow, and he pulled his hand out and there was a needle still stuck in his finger.
The needles weren't clean.
There was blood inside the vial of the needle.
The family panicked.
The first thing we did, we kind of freaked out. We called 911.
The operator told them to take the boy to the emergency room to get tested for diseases.
HIV, hepatitis A, B, and C.
Cowlitz County deputies took the syringes and sweatshirt as evidence yesterday. It was purchased at a Longview Walmart in late November. For now, the boy has to deal with adult concerns.
I don't think that he will be fully mentally healed until after the 6 months, until after all the blood work comes back.
Walmart says it is investigating what happened, but so far the chain says it has not heard of any other incidents. New tonight, police in Portland used a sandwich to stop a naked man from jumping off the ledge of a parking structure. This morning, officers came across the man who appeared to be experiencing a mental breakdown. He threatened to jump and then told police he was hungry. An officer grabbed a sandwich from a nearby hotel and lured the man away from the ledge. The man was taken into custody and is in the hospital tonight. A huge get-together with a heart tonight for the Lady 12s. This new women's group of Seahawks fans rallied in Redmond tonight for a greater purpose. The Lady 12s banner says they don't do calm, but their idea
We've got
is
a
to do
silent
good.
auction and a raffle benefiting Vision House, which is a charity that provides transitional housing to homeless women and their children.
We track all of our analytics through Facebook. Our fan base is almost 50-50. It's 50% men, 50% women, so this is a great opportunity for all the women to get together.
And you can count Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman's mother, Beverly, as an admirer. Mama Sherman, as she calls herself, also talked about the encouragement she gave her son before he left for the team hotel tonight.
I said, son, do your thing tomorrow, do the best you can do, and let's try to pull this, not try, but let's get this done tomorrow.
And it's the way her son gets it done that made him the center of a Puyallup teen's Make-A-Wish dream earlier today. Kalen, or Bubba, as his friends and family call him, could not believe this was happening. The 14-year-old's been battling a life-threatening bone disease for the past 2 years.
It's just my inspiration to keep trying hard and to keep working at my best and never give up.
I appreciate that. It means a lot, man, because everybody has their motivation. It's inspiring to see everything he goes through and see him keep a positive attitude and keep fighting.
And Bubba's prediction tomorrow, 21-3, Hawks, of course.
And the weather prediction keeps most of the rain chances to the north of the stadium during the game tomorrow with St. Louis. Can't be ruled out that we have a raindrop or two, but most of the rain tomorrow is going to be toward the border. Let's look at Indianola, Kitsap County tonight. A beautiful sunset as we had a few clouds above the Puget Sound and then some more clouds as we got deeper into the evening. Already noting a little bit of fog around the area, especially north of Seattle, but also in parts of the South Sound. A little bit of fog to start the day. It looks like fog is going to be a bit more widespread tomorrow morning compared to this morning. If you were in the fog in the pea soup this morning, chances are you'll have that again tomorrow, but we will see some clearing. We are stuck in the atmosphere in a northwesterly flow, and we're just waiting for disturbances to come through that northwest flow. Several of them this week. The one tomorrow is going to be a very weak one. Temperatures right now close to their overnight lows, and you see how the visibilities have really fallen in the South Sound as winds have gone calm tonight. There is that upper level high pressure ridge, but we're on the edge of that, so we do have a few showers, mainly north of Seattle tomorrow as that disturbance rolls through. Temperatures starting out in the 30s to around 40 in Hoquiam with fog, 27 in Wenatchee to start tomorrow morning, chilly in eastern Washington. New forecast model tonight starting here at midnight. The green on this map does show where the best rain chances will be. It's not going to be raining everywhere in this green color at 6 a.m., but you get the idea. North and west of the Seattle area and then headed toward game time will keep those rain shower chances highest across areas of Snohomish County, Skagit County up through the San Juans. But yeah, can't rule out a spotty light shower before it dries up tomorrow night. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be in the 40s, mid to upper 40s in most spots. South Sound, you have the lowest chance of a shower tomorrow. 5-day forecast shows another one of those disturbances rolling in starting Monday evening and then lasting into Tuesday. But it really does look right now that we will get rid of this rain, at least in lowland locations, before the clock strikes midnight into 2014. Another disturbance, a stronger one, could come our way by Friday of next week, but mainly dry for the game. And go Hawks.
Oh, that is good news.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Morgan. And coming up, the Seahawks playoff position comes down to what happens tomorrow against the St. Louis Rams. Can the Hawks get beast mode working again? Chris Francis takes a look next.
It's all on the line tomorrow. The division title, a first-round bye, and home field advantage in the playoffs. But the Rams, as Golden Tate said, want to come in here and ruin our season. And that could happen if the Hawks don't fix what's ailing them on offense. And the biggest problem starts with the O-line and running the football. Lately, they've struggled to get anything going with Marshawn Lynch. Last year, he had 10 100-yard games. This year, only 3. And none of them in the last 5 weeks. Coach Carroll says it's about the little things.
We're trying to get real good tempo at the line of scrimmage. We come running off the football, landmarking well. We know that 24 is going to hit it. Not concerned about that part of it. He's been, as consistent as you could hope for.
Got to landmark it well. The defense, they're doing just fine. They lead the NFL in several categories, including a +18 turnover ratio. That's because in the past 2 weeks, they've picked off 9 passes. All 3 original members of the Legion of Boom that remain on the team, made the Pro Bowl. We asked Earl Thomas this week whether it was frustrating making all those stops and watching the offense struggle. His response, keep on keeping on.
Keep giving the offenses many opportunities as far as turning the ball back into Russ's hands. And we know that's not going to always happen like that. Russ is a great leader, great quarterback, one of the best in the league. And it's not often that you see our offense can't score on a 1-yard line, Marshawn. So it just didn't.
It didn't happen last week. We hope it happens this week. On the court today, the Cougars hoping to take advantage of a weaker opponent before they hit Pac-12 play. Mississippi Valley State visiting the Palouse. Not a fun night for the Delta Devils. Cougs jumped out to a 21-3 lead. Q Johnson with a triple. It was a 10-point game at the half, and the Cougs blew it wide open coming out of the locker room. Royce Woolridge with 2 of his 16 points on the fast break. Junior Longress turned it into a slam dunk contest. This effort part of a 14-0 run. He scored 8 off the bench. Easy win for the Cougs. Better savor this one, though, because their next game is the Pac-12 opener against number 1 Arizona. Yikes. Yesterday, the Huskies got 18 points from both Andrew Andrews and Nigel Williams-Goss as they beat Mississippi Valley State. It also helped to get double-doubles from Paris Blackwell and C.J. Wilcox. That final 90-85. The Dogs are now 7-5, and they have one more non-conference game before their Pac-12 schedule begins, and that non-conference game is tomorrow at Heck Ed versus Hartford. Now to the Husky football team. Last night they won their 9th game of the season, something they've done only 3 times in the last 20 years. Great job by superstar running back Bishop Sankey. Scored 2 touchdowns and ran for 96 yards. He was absolutely dominant. And even when BYU did score, John Ross and the rest of the Huskies, a special teams unit, made sure to put them back in their place rather quickly. 100-yard return for the freshman. Austin Safarian Jenkins, playing in his final game as a Husky, caught a touchdown pass. Dogs put all the distractions behind them and won it 31-16.
We know we were going to feed the horse. And he's been a workhorse for us all year. And I think our offensive line did an excellent job of opening holes for him.
We had a fun 2 weeks, and it's fun, obviously, when you win. But if we didn't win, I would still be proud of the effort that these guys put forth.
And the defense was great as well. They had the tough job of trying to corral dual threat quarterback Taysom Hill, who did some damage, but the pressure supplied by guys like Haluli Kikaha and Danny Shelton helped the Dogs in the second half to a shutout. Kikaha had 3 sacks, and John Timu had an interception. Just a great effort all around.
Yeah, it was a great to get this ninth win, man. We've been striving for it the whole season. We hit a little adversity with the coaches change, but we don't play for the coaches, we play for ourselves.
We have 2 teams that are no huddles. It's going to be a lot of damage on the O-line and the D-line. So, come out with this win, it's just exciting, man. It's the greatest feeling right now.
In today's bowl action, Louisville and Miami meet in the Russell Athletic Bowl, and Teddy Bridgewater showed off for the NFL scouts. The junior from Miami beat up on the Canes. 3 touchdown passes. If he goes to the NFL, he will be a first-round pick. The Ville won it 36-9. And in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, love these names, Kansas State beat up on Michigan in the first half. Jake Waters found Tyler Lockett 3 times for scores. Michigan, starting a freshman quarterback, could not recover. The Wildcats won it 31-14. 31-14. That's a very familiar score to the one I was going to give you. 27-13.
27-13 Hawks.
Yes.
You're calling for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they're going to get back to the way they do things at CenturyLink Field, and we're going to see a team that wants a division title, and they're going to win it.
And we're going to see beast mode rolling again.
I think, yeah, maybe not 100, but it'll be close.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Pot growers and distributors in Colorado are now official. Their recreational pot licenses are being handed out. In Denver, city officials gave licenses to 42 medical marijuana growers. Legal sales of recreational pot start January 1st in Colorado. In Washington, our state estimates recreational pot will not go on sale here until June at the earliest. That is fog rolling in right now.
It is fog rolling in right now. As we look outside at SeaTac Airport in just a few moments, we'll have a few showers north with some fog early. I think that the rain and the fog stay away from the Seahawks game tomorrow.
27-13, is that what you said? All right.
And I'm glad I won't get wet. I got wet last week. So that's good.
Good for you.
That's all that matters, right?
Go Hawks. Thank you for trusting KIRO 7 Eyewitness News. We'll see you the next time news breaks, and again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Look at that fog.